my bag.
That's out. Oh, see, he saved it. He saved it. He saved it.
Right? What I'm saying is, as a man with money and resources, you have the options. You can go out and you can get you a good girl. You can settle down. You can build a family. You can do all that type of stuff. Or you can play the field if you want to, doing the traditional meeting girls and all that type of stuff on dating apps and stuff like that. Or you can go the expedited route like I do and just put them all on your calendar and just schedule it all out and give them $50. So it's pretty much how you want to do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, I got a hot one for you tonight.
Whether back home or abroad, there's a high probability that you either have or will run into Mormons. I've run into Mormons several times here. They're famous for their shirt and tie, no matter how hot it is, riding on their bicycles, and being very friendly, very approachable. And I don't have an issue with their religion, it's freedom of religion. But their approach, the way that many missionaries have chosen to do it, either in the past or presently, is to go overseas and to spread their ideology. But that's something that many black men actually have in common with them.
I got a hot one for you tonight. What a lot of black men have dealt with in the United States has kind of messed up our social worldview as men. Things that the rest of the world of men don't really think about as a thing or care about as a thing. It's just life. We kind of make a big deal out of it and, try to attach our manhood to it.
This is Pablo Frescobar, and he's speaking to the black male experience. As young boys, we're told very often what a good man is, what a good man, a real man does. From provisioning and providing to even the moral way of looking at it, where a good man always or a good man never. But many of these things that are deeply ingrained in us have an effect on how we not just think when we go overseas, but what we think is appropriate for people overseas. And we have to find a way to update that, if not rethink it or recreate it.
There are very wealthy and powerful men who pay for the company of women. They pay them to come and they pay them to go. And they also pay them for discretion.
We have to realize, and I speak as a black man saying this, that we come from a community that has very crystallized ideas of what right and wrong are, or what is quote unquote moral and immoral. And when we take these ideas with us overseas, sometimes they just don't translate. Because quite simply, their ideas of what is moral and immoral are very different from our Judeo-Christian black church having ideas.
It's only black men who seem to attach some type of machismo to quote unquote getting it on the mouthpiece. Other men get it however they get it, and they don't care how they get it, as long as they get it. Now they respect real love and real relationships, but they also recognize there are other relationships that aren't real love, and those are valuable too for different reasons.
We're missing each other a little bit. It seems like you're comparing like running a game, day game, nightclubs, bars, dressing up, spitting game, learning a language, and getting girls that way, as opposed to just sitting back, relaxing, paying for play and just being done with it.
It's not a zero-sum game. It's not either she really love you or fuck it.
Instead of comparing pay for play to finding a really good Brazilian wife and just being with her and just not having to worry about it. I don't know.
What if you don't? But what if you don't want a wife?
They give him a good game. What's going on out here, bro? He done took tone. Goddamn it, he done done.
I understand. Okay, that's my point. Okay, so it depends on the man.
Yeah, so what if, you know what I'm saying, what if you don't want a wife? Because with a wife or a girlfriend, right, there's a lot of emotional currency that you have to spend with her. You see what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is you don't believe that men can find that good woman to settle down with and still have that peace of mind, as opposed to what they say they can find in the Philippines and what some say they can find in Thailand. I believe you can find that in Thailand. I met a girl who still has my heart a little bit in Thailand. She's a good girl, you know what I'm saying? But so you're saying you don't believe that you can find women like that in Brazil?
I paused it here to reiterate the fact that he was operating in China in the same way that he would try to operate in American dating culture. And it was not serving him well, because China is a traditional culture where men are expected to spend money on beautiful women. Surprise, surprise, Latin America is very similar, particularly if you're a foreigner. This idea that, oh, well, their local men don't do this and that. Well, you're not one of the local men. If she's gonna leave her tribe to go and be with you, you better be offering something above and beyond what the locals can do. That's just a fact. Why do you think all these sister girls want to go swirl? I know some of y'all think it may just be for white skin, but no, they believe that white men represent wealth and social status. Flight Madness is saying, I wanted to get it on my personality, on who I am. Yes, yes, and yes, brother. I applaud that. That's very honorable. But being honorable doesn't always get you what you want.
No, it does. It makes sense. But what do you say to guys who do want that just one good one and just nurture that? Because, like, if you take, for me, pay for play is repulsive to me.
Yeah, it's repulsive too. It's repulsive to a lot of people. But what I'm seeing is, especially in my circles, because I know a lot of people with a lot of money, millionaires, business owners, you know, they got yachts and all this type of stuff.
Me too.
Have wives, even.
Some of the wealthiest.
Some of the wealthiest
yes,
men.
Some of the wealthiest men actually do pay for play.
Exactly, because they realize that they don't have the time to put into these women.
Someone watching this video might think that recently I've drastically changed my point of view morally on the things being discussed in this video. And in response, I would say to that person, instead, what I've changed is my way of looking at the world in absolutes. One thing being absolutely right, one thing being absolutely wrong. There is no absolute right or wrong way to do any of the things we've been told, regardless of the religion that has been ingrained in us, what is right and what is wrong and what we should and shouldn't do. And you can see a response to this comment here. Skylar said he's doing $1,000 per month on multiple sugar babies. And you're going to hear Pablo's response.
I don't care. See, MJ, I do not care. I care about what I care about, which is hitting them guts, hanging out, having a good time, enjoying myself. It's not about whether or not you genuinely like me, genuinely respect me. You're going to respect these dollars.
They give him a good game. What's going on out here, bro? He done took tone. Goddamn it, he done.
Because when you don't, the dollars are stopped. The dollars are over. The money stops. It's not about, it's you're going to respect me till you stop respecting me, and then I stop. I said that I had a friend that frequents Africa tell me the story about a guy who didn't want to pay for a $4 Uber ride for an African woman he wanted to come to his apartment to smash, and he didn't want to pay for her Uber.
Much like when missionaries go overseas, they are intent on changing the culture they're going to instead of fitting into or finding their place in the culture they're going to. Often you'll see with Black men, because it's so deeply ingrained in us, is that we're trying to date in the same way, and we see certain things as right and certain things as wrong. And if you're in a country where your compatriot, the lady that you're dating, is making almost as much as you are, or by law she's making exactly what you are, the idea of paying for her is a lot different than the idea of going to a country where someone may have to work a very long time for the amount of money that you can make in an hour or less than an hour. And so if you apply the same standards of dating in a country where the women are making almost, if not on par with what you're making, to what women are making and how they're spending in a country where they're making a lot less, it's just not going to fit.
Guys, we have representatives among us like this, traveling the world, that are so tight on a dollar that they're making the juices dry up. Yes, being cheap. Yeah, they thought, he said Uber was tricking. The brother didn't want to get the girl in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, a Uber. Black American men, I'm here to tell you, your reputation abroad is not, quote unquote, as a trick. Your reputation abroad is as a cheapskate, as a broke dude, as dudes that ain't got no money, that always want to bang the girls in head on the headboard all night, but don't want to give her no money, as being cheap. That's your real cultural reputation right now abroad. It's not that, oh, they always tricking. Nah, that ain't you. That's not you guys. You guys are known for being tightwad.
I often speak of learning the culture as well as learning a language when you go overseas. And one of the reasons why learning the culture is so important is because you understand how they do the things that we have found different ways of doing where we come from, how they do marriage, how they do when someone has 2 or 3 kids and the wife is preoccupied with the children, how they deal with things that are the difficult parts of the human existence. All cultures don't deal with these things in the same way. And so when you learn the culture, what you're essentially doing is learning not just the culture as in how it works, but you learn where is going to be your place in that culture. Which young ladies are you going to be able to have fun with for a night, or the types of young ladies that are looking to get married, or even the types of young ladies that are just not really going to date you, or they may be quote unquote out of your league, or better yet, they may only see you as someone to have a good time with. And you have to accept that, because what she will sacrifice socially will be too much that it just costs her so much. And so just like you see with Mormons, their intent in going overseas is not to fit in. It is to change the culture, to retrofit the belief system where they're going to mimic the one that they have back home. And if you take your mores, the way that you look at dating and dealing with young ladies, you'll essentially be trying to do the same thing in a different culture. The bottom line is that some people are going to be in your life for a season, and some are going to be in your life for a very short amount of time, and some might be in your life forever. But all young ladies can't, by definition, be in your life forever. And so if you change the way that you look at the moral ways of dealing with young ladies, it might, in fact, help you understand the men better. Because one thing that we've learned in our community that is not necessarily the case in others is that we think that all women can become wives. And that's simply not the truth. It's not the case. And if you go to other cultures, you'll see for some men, especially if they're of a certain status, no matter how beautiful the young ladies are, if they're reared a certain way, it's just not in the cards. And that kind of thinking is not in us yet. I think we could use a bit more of that. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what is. And that should word, you might want to think about taking that out of your vocabulary. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care, guys.